Hello, Earthlings of a Nigerian disposition. Please dust your feet off at the welcome mat and come right in. Make yourself comfortable, for this is why you are broke. Brought to you by ARM Pensions. And speaking of pensions, there's a pertinent question that's been floating around the consciousness of the nation. Are pensions relevant? Now, some would say that's one of the silliest questions ever asked in the history of gainful employment, but we do not think so here at This Is Why You're Broke, brought to you by ARM Pensions. Such questions are teachable moments, and our teacher for today is Oguche Oguda, the CEO of PenOp, and he's going to help us out with that question right now. Hey Oguche, how are you doing? So my first question to you is this. When I think of PenOp, I think of Penelope Pitstop, the Hanna-Barbera character from the Wacky Races series. Help us out. What is PenOp?
To be honest with you, I actually used to think that way also before I joined PenOp.
See? So you're there as well.
Yes, I was. But PenOp really is an acronym for the Pension Fund Operators Association of Nigeria. So all the pension funds in Nigeria, all the pension fund operators in Nigeria came together and formed an association, as with most professional bodies. So if you think of people like ICANN, TIWYAB, Manufacturers Association of Nigeria. So PenOp is in that mode. PenOp is a sort of a trade association and a professional body.
So ARM is a member of that body then?
Yes, ARM is one of the 22 pension fund administrators in Nigeria. So PenOp is made up of all the pension fund operators. And the pension fund operators in Nigeria are typically demarcated into three. So the pension fund administrators, they are the ones that administer and sort of manage the funds. And ARM is one of those 22. And they are the pension fund custodians, who are the ones that actually keep custody of the funds and carry out instructions of the pension fund manager.
Fantastic. Now, I want to get to the meat and potatoes of the matter.
Same here.
Are pensions relevant?
Definitely. They're very relevant because we all have a particular work lifespan. We can't work forever. So at some point in our lives, we'll get tired. We can't hustle as we used to. We can't get up and just go out and get deals, get business, or we can't just work forever. At the point where we are frail, where we are beyond the work age, we can't be begging for money from our children or from our peers. It's good to have our own money that is coming to us on a monthly, regular basis, which we can use to do the things we need to do when we are old and retired. So if you've been saving whilst you are working in a pension scheme, then you'll see the benefits when you're retired. So it's very, very beneficial. Pension schemes are definitely a must.
Okay, great. Now, that's great for people who are employed, but for those who are looking forward to entering the labor force and possibly, getting into the whole pension scheme, what is it that they need to know about how important pensions are?
It's even very much important for those that are just about to get into the labor force. So let's just look at a hypothetical situation. So you finish school about 22, 23, with the strikes, maybe 25, 26. You finish school around that age. So let's say a ballpark, 25 years old, and you enter the labor force. At that time, your salary might not be too much depending on where you're working, but if you're able to save on a consistent basis through the pension scheme, maybe it's 5,000, 10,000 every month consistently. And that pensions, the money that you're saving goes to a pension fund administrator and they manage it for you. There is something called the compounding effect. So it begins to compound for you month on month, year on year. When they invest for you, the interest and the income you make from those investments goes back to the fund and it begins to invest again over like a 25-year period.
Okay, now can you explain how it works? That is the pension structure, is it a tag team between the employer and the employee?
Yes, it's a tag team or a doubles match, if you will. So you, the employee, there's a certain portion of your salary, 8% of your salary, that goes into the pension pot every month. And the employer now contributes 10% of the salaries. So both of you contribute together and makes 18% every month. It's meant to be deducted. Your 8, the employer's 10, statutory by law, and then it goes to the pension fund administrator. So you just bring a portion, the employer brings a portion.
Great. Now, could you also explain how the additional voluntary contributions work? You know, how that comes about?
Yeah, I'll really encourage many people to take those additional voluntary contributions because minimum which you as an employee should contribute is 8% of your basic housing and transport. But you can decide to actually contribute more. Maybe take it up to 10%, 15, 20%, depending on your financial strategy, depending on your financial goals, depending on where you see yourself in future and how much money you want to have in retirement. So if you want to have much more money in retirement, or if you want to have some money towards a project you're saving towards, I'll encourage you to actually do more than the minimum 8%. And the beauty of it is that you really don't feel it at the end of the month when you're deducting maybe 10, 15%. But the benefits that you get in 5, 10 years down the line is so much more.
All right, good advice, good advice. Now, with what's been going on around the world, even in Nigeria, COVID-19 has affected jobs. Cut salaries have been cut. Businesses have been going out of operations. People have been laid off. Looking at that reality, at what point can one access their pensions early, before the age of 50 or before retirement?
Yes. So the Pension Act, the guys that drafted the Pension Act, they really did a lot of work into sort of anticipating things like this. So the Act allows for, when you do lose your job, to be able to access about 25% of your retirement savings account. So if you've lost your job and you haven't gotten any money in your pension account for 4 months, you can approach your pension fund administrator and just apply for 25% of your funds. It's there, and it's there to cushion the effects of job loss, cushion the effects of things like this COVID. Just want to empathize with all those that have lost their jobs or struggling, but the pension funds and your pensions can serve as a sort of a buffer within this period, within some certain parameters.
Okay, now based on that though, if you think big picture, looking at the fact that retirement is so important, is it advisable to access your pensions early? Would you perhaps advise someone to, at all costs, not touch their pensions until retirement, regardless of whatever is going on in the world?
Well, it's an individual decision, depending on where you are, depending on what other savings you've made. But as a general advice, I always say that pensions are sort of the last form of defense, if you will, the goalkeeper actually. They standing between the sticks. So as much as possible, you shouldn't dip into your pensions until it's absolutely necessary. So if you've got other investments, you can sell them, you can liquidate them. And if you don't have to, you should leave it there because, like I said earlier, the compounding effect will begin to work for you. But if you've got no other option, you can access it. You don't have to access the 25%. You can access 5, 10. But the benefit of you leaving it there and compounding is going to work for you. But like I said, if you don't have any other option and you're dying today, you can access a portion of that, and the law allows for that.
All right, my final question to you, Oguche, before I let you go. This is all great stuff for those who are in formal employments doing their 9-to-5s. What about individuals who are either self-employed or in the informal economy? What pension schemes, are there any pension schemes for them?
Yes, definitely. So the industry has come up with sort of a micro pension plan to cater for people that are not in formal employment or people who own small businesses and don't employ a large number of people. So they can decide to begin to put some money away for their employees or for themselves as an individual, to put some money away because of what I mentioned earlier. You get to a point in your life where you can't really work, you can't hustle, you can't go out and get deals. So the money that you've invested while you are in your active work life will begin to work for you. So if you're an individual, a small business, you just approach a pension fund administration of your choice and you enroll with the micro pension plan and you determine how much you want to be contributing on a monthly basis, and it allows you some withdrawals. It's not as stringent as those in formal employment, so it's flexible. Rotus, I'm sure you've got your pensions all.
Of course.
Yeah, so it's something that is really beauty for every Nigerian to really get involved. You don't have to have loads of money, just little money consistently over time. What that does in a number of years is phenomenal. As a matter of fact, what many people don't understand when they hear 10.5 trillion, they don't understand that the money that has actually been contributed by the contributors is perhaps about 5 or 6 trillion. The other bit is what the pension fund managers have been able to multiply by virtue of the activity. So it's really a multiplication scheme. The pension fund is really a multiplication scheme.
All right, Oguche Oguda, the CEO of PenOp, thank you so much for joining us on This Is Why You're Broke and giving us all the information we need on pensions. Thank you, sir.
Thank you too. Look forward to coming on board soon.
All right, and now for our financial tip of the day. Do what you can to increase your additional voluntary contributions to your pension. Before you do, figure out the impact on your salary and on your way of life. The more you contribute to your pension, the better your retirement will be. And there you have it. Pension discussions are not only informative, they are essential. Thank you so much for sticking around with us and watching this episode of This Is Why You're Broke, brought to you by ARM Pensions. And remember, folks, if you don't do the pension, you're going to feel the tension. See you next time.